we streaming? Oh, it says starting. What does starting mean? But that still says the stream is offline. Okay, that says elapsed time. So that means something's happening. But I'm still saying stream is offline on the main thing. Oh no, wait. Oh, I think things are loading. Oh, hey, that's myself. Hey, that's pretty. I'm sorry, guys. I'm off track. So this is a live Primus Prime Time. Basically, am I too close to the mic? Am I too close or too far to the mic is the question. Basically, I'm a lazy college student, and there isn't really too much exciting to talk about in this Primus Prime Time, so I thought I'd just open it up to the public, do it live. Just screw it, we're doing it live. But I don't really need these, do I? Oh, hello, trans fan. Hi, new fan here. Hey, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Since we have a lot of new people, since it's there's a little bit of lag between the stream and when I see the chat. But you know what? That's gotta do what you gotta do. Where was I? Oh, I have noticed that I got a lot of new people on the channel. We went from 300 to 500 real fast. So for those of you who don't know, this is Primus Prime Time. This is just my general talk type show where I talk about the new stuff in Transformers and anything related to Transformers. Seeing myself talk is confusing. I'm sorry. I'm not good at streaming. Back in the day I used to stream. I did back when I did games, I did streaming. I did Katala Shoujo, which is a dating sim video game for Valentine's Day. Oh, hey Taylor. Hey Grimwave the Great. That's a great name. Am I talking too loud? I don't need these, do I? I don't need these. But yeah, this is Primus Prime Time. This is my general talk show. Since you don't really get to see much of me, because usually I'm behind the camera doing Transformers lore stuff. And, yeah. This is so weird. I'm sorry if I'm weird with streaming. This is still new. Although I might do this more often. But I'm not really sure. Okay, so let's look at these topics that I have. First, do I want to do Gem or Combiner Wars first? I think I'm going to talk about Gem first because that's probably going to be the most boring, and then we can get to the actual good stuff. And less people will be at the beginning, and then theoretically more people will come in. What do you think about Megatron's new look? Are we talking about the last night Megatron, the new picture they put up? Originally when I first saw his face when they did the whole face thing, I thought, first off, why isn't he Galvatron? First of all, and second of all, he looks pretty new. But the new Megatron, the new picture they released, if you look at his face, it's really a mask and it opens up, and I thought that was pretty cool. It looks a lot more like how Megatron looked like in the first 3 movies. So I think that's a nice little I don't know the word. Nice little nod. It's certainly not a nod if it's just a straight up sequel, though. I like it. It reminds me a lot of Transformers of the Align Universe. Megatronus from like what we've seen of him in the Covenant of Primus book, and so yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Oh, thanks, Grimwave. Really appreciate it. I see some people. Halo trans fans said CW as in Combiner Wars first before getting to Gem. Alright, we'll get into that. So, Combiner Wars, the new series that came out. The first 2 episodes are out already. Little short 5-episode animated episodes. And I enjoyed all the preview stuff. All the preview stuff I either thought was plain or I enjoyed it. The actual what about Barricade? Okay, Gregory Hobson. What about Barricade? Barricade looks a little more blue in the face than I'm used to. He looks nothing like a one moment. All right. looks nothing like his old thing. Like it's almost like a completely new character. Like if this was a different universe, it looks like another universe Barricade, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Like, he doesn't have any of the distinctive features of movie Barricade, except for the, I guess, chest. But I do actually kind of like... I'll put Barricade over here. I do like all the stuff he has hanging from him. Like, he has, like, that gun on his hip, and he has that baton on his hip. And I think that's pretty cool. My father was actually a police officer, and he has a lot of police things laying around. Before he stopped, when I was born, he said, "You know what? I might die here. There's a sort of high crime rate where I live." But he's like, nothing compared to, like, you know, the big cities. But he realized after I was born that he probably could die, and so he went with the much safer profession of being an accountant, which is also much less exciting. Do you think the Dinobots will be coming back? I think I've heard somewhere that they will be, but I don't remember how reliable the source was. The Dinobots. You've got to do something with them, though. If I was Michael Bay, if I was the writers, you can't just let the Dinobots go running out into the wild of Hong Kong and just like, all right, that's the end of their story. Like, we'll never talk about them again. They can just giant dinosaur robots in China. That's gonna be fine. No, they have to do something with the Dinobots. And of all the speculation I see of like Transformers 5, I don't really like to speculate, but the Dinobots being there is something that I feel would be a safe bet that will come back. Can you do a gender and relationship vid for G.I. Joe? Just look up the birds and the bees and we'll leave it at that, okay? But yeah. Alright, so where were we? Combiner Wars, that's where we were at. Before we started getting to gender and relationships for G.I. Joe. That's a weird video, by the way. The whole Transformers gender and relationship vid, that's sort of the weirdest video I've ever made. But it's one of those that has to be made, you know? Like, it's in the canon. You have to discuss it at some point. And, you know, I've seen a lot of misconceptions about that stuff on the internet. And I was like, let's try to set things straight here. If you can't tell through the stream, I have trouble talking, and that's why there's usually a bunch of jump cuts in my videos. I don't even know why I'm looking. I'm looking over here. Does that look weird on the stream? Yeah, I should be looking at the camera more often. What do you think about Transformers Fall of Cybertron for PS4 and Xbox One? It has all the DLCs for free. I did not know it had all the DLCs for free. That's cool. I have Fall of Cybertron for Xbox 360. I mean, it's more a good Transformers game being released for more consoles. That's generally a good thing. Spreads the word of Transformers. Spreads the holy word. Sounds cool. All the DLCs for free. That A+ in my book. But yeah. What's your gamer tag for Xbox? I actually have two, because I didn't understand the concept of sharing an account on both Xbox 360 and Xbox One. I believe I used to have it posted somewhere. I might have gotten rid of it. I don't get onto Xbox that often, I will say that. But literally, pretty much everywhere across the spectrum, I'm Primus Prime 22. My two gamer tags are Xbox... My two gamer tags are Xbox 22. My two gamer tags are Primus Prime 22 and Primus Prime 222. 222 is my Xbox One account. Why do I have two? Because I'm stupid. But yeah. Do you think there might be a faithful sequel, or in this case, squeal, to Transformers Fall of Cybertron? I hope there isn't. And I know that sounds bad, and let me explain myself first. Well, actually, I take that back. I hope there is, because there is something you can't put in there. The Fall of Cybertron universe is the same. Well, first let me catch myself. The Fall of Cybertron continuity is in the same continuity as Transformers Prime. and you don't really have that big of a jump, um, or that much space in between Fall of Cybertron Prime and all the material that's covered in the books. There's really that much breathing room to fit another game. But I do think you could make a game over. There's one big question in the Align continuity, and that is what happened to everyone on the Ark. Because you see them leave on the Ark. Spoiler for Fall of Cybertron, if anyone out there hasn't played Fall of Cybertron, but you see them go through the Ark. I know, Transformers going on a ship to Earth. That's groundbreaking. You see Transformers go to Earth, the Ark to go to Earth. I can't talk. This is why I do jump cuts. You see them go through the portal to Earth. How many times have I said that? And next thing that happens chronologically is the Transformers Prime TV show. With the exception of some stuff that's been added in the books. I know Retribution, I think, talks a lot about the journey the Ark took from space to Earth, I think. And I think they run into Quintessons at some point in there. But, we don't know what happened to the crew of the Ark. Because the next thing you know, it's just Ratchet, Cliffjumper, RC, Bulkhead, and Optimus all on Earth. Just, twiddling their thumbs in Outpost Omega 1. And at first you're like, oh, is this one of those things they're just going to gloss over? Because there's a rough transition from the games to Prime. Like, it's the reason why a lot of people think they're separate universes. I see the ROM thing. I'll get to that in a bit. But for Fall of Cybertron, where was I? Yes, I want a game that explains what happened to everyone on the Ark. RC mentions that there was a lot of Autobots who escaped on the Ark in Transformers Prime. And I'm like, okay, where are they though? So I think that would be a good thing to cover. I'm gonna answer the Grimlock question before I get to the ROM. Just because it's a quick answer. What happened to Grimlock and the Dinobots at the end of the game? There is a series. Let me see if I can pull it up. You might see a lag in the FPS for a second. Because for some reason, OBS really likes to slow down when I click on anything that's not OBS. By the way, how has my FPS been doing? Like, have I been looking pretty smooth? I can't tell. What is it? I forget the names of these. No. Comic. Okay. So there's a comic series, right? Called Transformers Fall of Cybertron. It sounds like just a comic adaptation of Fall of Cybertron, but it's actually a little bit before Fall of Cybertron, and it talks about what the Dinobots are doing before Fall of Cybertron, and that leads into Transformers Prime Rage of the Dinobots, which is a 4-issue miniseries, and that talks about what the Dinobots are doing after War for Cybertron. And after that, there's a series called Transformers Prime Beast Hunters, a comic series, not Season 3 of Transformers Prime, but that is a sequel to Rage of the Dinobots, and that pretty much is like, what are the Dinobots doing during Transformers Prime? And I think it goes... How far does that go? Does it... I think it ends around the time Transformers Prime ends. Yeah, the cover for Beast Hunters number 8 has Grimlock and the Dinobots beside Bumblebee from Transformers Prime in his black paint, and RC in her blue body from Transformers Prime. So that's what happened to them between the after Fall of Cybertron. Sorry. You should read Reign of the Dinobots. I think Rage of the Dinobots. Yeah, that I was talking about. Centuries Productions, PS4 or Xbox? Xbox. Josh. Oh, hey, my senpai is streaming. Hey. Okay, the ROM question. Are you reading the new ROM series? And if you are, what do you think about it? I personally like it. Man, you know I'm reading the ROM series. Because I'm such an IDW fanatic, and I love the universe. Naturally, I'm going to be reading ROM. In fact, I talk about ROM, don't I? Yeah, Transformers Prime Time number... whatever came before this. My FPS just dropped. I saw that. Yeah, ROM. I love it. I know nothing about ROM beforehand. So I don't know like the Marvel series or anything. I really like how it's tying the universe together. I think every shared universe needs to have something that ties everything up together to make it look more natural. DC, the New 52 had Gotham Academy, which sort of had living people enjoying the world. I guess that's more Batman stuff. Never mind, forget what I just said. um, but like Marvel has damage control, where it has these group of people pick up the damage after battles between superpowered beings in the Marvel universe. And ROM has spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen ROM. I'm sorry. ROM first issue straight out the bat has EDC members from the Earth Defense Command. Straight up has that's about it. Spoilers for the very end of ROM issue 1. G.I. Joe just walks up, and I spent like all of last month reading through all of IDW's G.I. Joe stuff. Because when they announced that it was going to be part of the IDW universe, and you know me, I love my continuity and I love to be up to date on things, reread everything. Well, I read everything. Why do I keep saying reread? So I know them G.I. Joes. So I love ROM. I really look forward to it. The art's great. The part where like ROM is neutralizing that whole family because they're dire wraiths, and you had the soldier who couldn't tell if it was PTSD or not. That's good writing right there. I could gush on for ROM for a little bit, but let's move on. I got some more questions piled up here. Grimwave the Great. Who's your favorite Dinobot? Mine is Grimlock, because, get it? Grimwave? Grimlock? Yeah, I get it. Favorite Dinobot? See, when I was a little kid, I really loved dinosaurs. That's why I have a dinosaur poster there, and I've been in this room since I was, like, freaking born. I even have a freaking dinosaur poster right here on my closet. But my favorite dinosaur was always the Triceratops, so it might be Slag. Though, honestly, Grimlock gets more of the character development, so he's more of a solid character, so it might be Grimlock. Either Grimlock or Slag. And I tend to like Swoop a little bit too. And Slut. I like all Transformers characters, let's be serious here. But yeah. Where were we? I don't think we're ever going to get to the topics. What are your where is it? Yeah, okay. What are your opinions? What is your opinion on The Lost Light? Sorry for the many questions. No, I like it. I like the questions. It's good. I honestly thought this would be a dead stream because I didn't announce it. This was really just a test run. But, and I really need to get my mind together. Again, this is how it's going to be like if you ever talk to me in public, because I can't talk. Normally I go through life not talking, so I sound a bit weird. Anyway, it's a question. Oh, gotta get my mind straight. Lost Light. I wish they didn't rename it. It's Lost. If you're a Transformers fan who hasn't been into Transformers for a while, and you go into your local comic shop and look at the shelves, you'll see Transformers and Transformers More Than Meets the Eye. And you're like, hey, I know that tagline. I know Transformers. I know that More Than Meets the Eye. So let me go check this out. You walk in, if you haven't been into Transformers for a while, walk into your comic store, see Transformers The Lost Light. You're gonna think, well, what is that? What I've never heard of a Lost Light. Just go pick up the normal Transformers series. And I really want people to see and read the James Roberts written series. So, yeah, did that answer your question? I mean, obviously, as for my personal opinion, besides the renaming and renumbering, I'm still going to like it. It's James Roberts. James Roberts is good. I look forward to it, yeah. Josh, what do Cybertronians eat/drink? Energon, usually. Sometimes, alterations of Energon. Sometimes fuel that's been converted into Energon. Sometimes Energon substitutes. I'm trying to think if they eat anything else. If they have organic modes, they might be able to eat whatever that organic creature originally ate, but I'm not sure about that. Originally, I thought that like beast modes were just sort of accessories, but then in the gender and relationships video where I talked about how if they have the parts, they can have children. That made me rethink all the bodily processes on the beast mode. How's my stream doing? Okay, that's good. But yeah, I don't know if they eat anything else. Oil cake. They do eat oil cake. What is oil cake? I don't know. It's that's something from the Generation 1 years where they just put out things that sounded like a robot would say and didn't really think too much into it. So yeah. Alright, where are we? Do you play Earth Wars? If so, which faction? I do not play Earth Wars. It is not supported on my device. First guys, this is my phone. You think I'm playing anything on this? But I do have a tablet. Am I being too loud? I'm sorry if I'm being too loud. I do have a tablet, but it did not... The Google Play Store said it was not compatible with my device. And I'm just like, But, I want to play it. But, yeah. If so, which faction? Again, I don't know. For any of you guys who are playing Pokemon Go, Team Mystic. Okay. Grimwade the Great. I love your name. It's awesome. How did you get it and made it up? It started when I was like freaking 6 years old, trying to get on Neopets. Okay, so this was back when I was 6. And when I was 6, I was obsessed with Transformers continuity. Surprise, nothing changed in between that time period. But I was just getting into Transformers. And I had this book called, I'm not going to get it out, called Transformers The Ultimate Guide. That was from, written by Simon Furman, and I really loved that book. It's like all in shreds in like back there, but I still sometimes read it. I know enough about Transformers to know when that book was incorrect now, and that's like a life goal. But it's talked about how Primus created the Transformers. It talked about a bit of the, it was focused on the Dreamwave stuff, and Dreamwave had a lot of Primus in it, and so they went with the Primus origin in that book. And I'm like, wow, normal people who don't know much about Transformers know there's Autobots and Decepticons. Maybe if they're a little bit more into Transformers, they know about Unicron, like if they've watched the movie and stuff, or watched Armada or whatever. But Primus, now that's new ground, because that was groundbreaking for me. That was when I realized there's more to just giant robots. They were created by something. I guess that's where my obsession from Transformers lore came. And back as a snobby 6-year-old, I wanted to prove how I was better than everyone by putting an obscure Transformers reference in my name. So I picked Primus, and then I just added Prime, and then 22 because, and I've said this a lot, but I picked 22 because it was my favorite number, but I'm not sure about that because 22 might have become my favorite number after I made it part of my username. I really don't know where the 22 came from, but it's my favorite number now, so whatever. And yeah, my first account was on Neopets, so my mom was like, you need an account to play Neopets. So I'm like, Primus Prime 22, and I've kept the same name every freaking account ever. Nowadays I'm actually starting to use another username so I can like sort of not be noticed if I'm going on Transformers stuff, because sometimes you'll find interesting things with Primus Prime. I used to have a DeviantArt like back in middle school, and I like history. I'm trying to be a history teacher, and I did a lot of paint images of like war and like World War II, and like I'm pretty sure if you Google, I even did a cringy fan art of Japan from Italia. But if you Google like Primus Prime 22, I'm sure you won't have to look long before you see swastikas because they're purely for historical purposes. I am not a Nazi. Let's make that clear right now. But yeah, I have talked a lot about this question. Let me move on. Josh, boy, Slag's my favorite Dinobot too. All right. My favorite Dinobots are Grimlock, Slag, Swoop. Yeah, the Dinobots are pretty cool. How do you feel about how they use Shockwave in Transformers 3? That's a good question. Oh, did my FPS just drop? Okay, it looks good. I think it dropped because I decided to scroll. Anyway, Shockwave, good question. Like what they did with the tie-in comics, but thought that he had much more potential in the movie, and they could have used him more. Especially because isn't he voiced by Frank Welker? Shockwave from Dark of the Moon. Shockwave. Hold up, I need to check that. Because I've been getting... In my War for Cybertron Let's Play, I mentioned that the Soundwave was probably voiced by Frank Welker because it sounded like him. Yes, Dark of the Moon Shockwave, voiced by Frank Welker. They could have done so much with that. I wish they did more. Instead, correct me if I'm wrong, but his only line in the entire movie was Optimus, right? But yeah, they could have used him so much more, especially how much they advertised him. Like, he's sort of like the Dinobots from Transformers 4. Like, they advertised him a lot and then didn't do anything with him. Alright. Centuries Vlog said, HY, hi? Hi? Do you think it's possible that Megatron and Galvatron are different characters in TF5? Looking back on the, new, thing, the newest picture for Megatron, it looks like he's more of on a Cybertron setting, which leads me to wonder if it might be like a flashback type scene with Megatron in it. That's my current theory, but I'm not... Again, I don't like to speculate. But, let me check my mic. Yeah, my mic's good. I don't like to speculate, but my current theory is that it's a prequel material. Maybe there are two different characters. I've seen other YouTubers say that like there's a difference between the fact how Galvatron has no soul and that the true soul of Megatron might... Video output low. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. As such, views will experience buffering. What does that mean? What do you mean video output low? I've been doing the same thing. YouTube, what are you doing? Video output low? What are you talking about? If there's any problem in the stream, feel free to tell me in the chat, because it's telling me that my video output is low and that viewers will experience buffering, so I don't know what that's about. Favorite Dinobots? Shockwave. They might be different characters. I've seen that theory floating around, and I think that's an interesting theory. But yeah. What do you think about Ratchet's death in TF5? I mean, Transformers 4. It buffers. Okay, it buffers. What can I do about this? Can I do anything about this? What does video output low mean? Let me Google that real fast. Video output low. YouTube stream. But to answer the Ratchet question, if I'm still audible, I thought it was a good reference to Transformers Animated. How you had lockdown kill. Stream is fine, just a few frame drops. Okay, alright. I don't need to be Googling this. I thought it was interesting how Lockdown killed Ratchet. That's a very Transformers animated thing, and I honestly think it was a coincidence. I don't think Michael Bay purposefully tried to do an animated reference, or the writers or anything. Again, it's like a little bit of a waste of a character. I think they still could have done a lot more with Ratchet. I think they can do a lot with many of the characters in the Michael Bay universe that they just don't. And, yeah. Did that answer your question? Yeah. It's a shame he's dead. Like, I'm rambling. Let me move on to the next question. What do you think about War for Cybertron? It's a good game. The best Transformers game when it came out. Shortly to be surpassed by Fall of Cybertron, at least in my opinion. And that seems to be the general consensus, though. I don't like... Let me rephrase that. I think it's interesting to note that it started off originally supposed to be a G1 universe. And then later they said, nah, this happens before Prime. And then everyone freaked out. Like, how is this before Prime? Nothing seems to be lining up. But, yeah. It's a fun game. Did a little Let's Play of it. Didn't get too far, though. You can search back at my channel for that. I'll probably do more, though. I don't know when I'll do more. Alright. What do you think about... What would your reaction be if Bumblebee died? I'd be happy. What Bumblebee are we talking about here? I'm going to assume since we've been talking about movie stuff, you're talking about the movie. If Bumblebee died... You know... I've been talking about recently how all these deaths have been a waste of a character, but I feel like they've done a lot with Bumblebee, and it's almost time to... He's had his run, and now he's getting a movie, his own freaking movie in Transformers 6. I don't generally say I'm happy when a character dies, though. I always think there's something you can do with him, unless their death is something meaningful to the plot. For instance, a good example of a good death in Transformers is the death of Starscream in Transformers Armada. That furthered the plot and added some character development. It revealed how Galvatron cared about Starscream in at least some little way. It helped Galvatron come to terms with the threat of Unicron and caused him to build the alliance with Optimus Prime. And yeah, the death of Starscream was a good example of a character death, and he had a lot of character development in the series. But yeah, of course, it all got freaking was made pointless after they brought him back as a mind-controlled ghost type deal in Energon. But whatever. But yeah, I know some people would be happy if Bumblebee died, but I can't necessarily say I'd be happy. I'm not necessarily like getting a party ready, just waiting for the moment when he has a death scene and then just click the button to have all the confetti come down. But yeah. About fair stream is fine, just a few frame drops. Do you think other dead Decepticons that have died could return in future live-action films? As in like beyond Barricade. I'm thinking what they're trying to do right now, what it looks like they're trying to do right now in the movies, is to bring back some Decepticons, because Dark of the Moon was originally going to be the end. So they thought, let's kill everyone. And then they realized they got that money, so they needed to continue with it. And I think they're starting to realize, shouldn't have killed everyone. So yes, I think it is possible for more Decepticons to come back. Particularly, I hope Starscream returns. Because he's Starscream. You can't have Starscream dead for so long. I say that. How many universes has he died in permanently, and not including his ghost form? I'm thinking animated. But yeah. So yeah, I think more can come. Movie? Yeah. Yes, the movies. Okay. Do you think Bumblebee will regain his voice for his spin-off? Ooh, that's an interesting question. How long have I been streaming for? 32 minutes? Let me get something ready. Actually, let me work on that later. What do you think that sound like? Let me answer the question. There's something I want to do. I miss the good old days when Transformers turned gray when they died, even though it didn't make much sense. I love that. Yeah, they still do turn gray in the IDW a little bit. Yeah, Rodimus's body, not the Rodimus, a copy Rodimus. His was gray. I really like that because it makes no sense. I don't think there's a reason for it either. But yeah. What was the question I'm supposed to be answering? Do you think Bumblebee will regain his voice for his spin-off? That's a possibility, I think. But I also think that they sort of want to keep the whole you can relate to a character that doesn't talk type deal. So they might keep that, and also appeals to the kids, gets them that cash. But they deal with Transformers Prime Bumblebee, and now they have the whole series going on with Bumblebee talking. So I wouldn't say it's what do you say? I wouldn't say it's an impossibility. How's about that? Now let me find something. We're going to take a short break because I'm a very socially awkward person who needs to take a little break between social interaction. What I'm going to do is play a little song and come on back, sort of like what you see on radio shows. What song do you guys want to listen to? Total Eclipse of the Heart. It'll be a while before you guys see this. Let's do the Transformers theme. Get a break. I'll get some water, and then we'll come back. Aight. More answering questions. Hopefully getting to the topics. But yeah. Let me see. Let me pull this up. Add. Do I want window capture or? Yeah, let's do window capture. Oh boy. Hopefully this works. Oh, that's not gonna work. Is there anything weird? No. Let's just do a display capture. Oh, God. Sorry if that was loud. Oh, I have that open somewhere else. Okay. I should have... Okay. This would have been prepared beforehand, but, I didn't expect people to come. So, yeah. So let's go ahead and add window capture. Oh, that's still not going to work. Okay, I see how it is. So I apologize. Let's add display capture. There we go. Let's just put this up. Three minutes and 35, and all right. We will be back. Actually, no, it's not playing the song. Hold up. There we go. Alrighty. let's see. Mute that. Get rid of, what happens if I do this? Oh dear. Okay, do I need that? Can I hide that? Is that an option I can do? Or just straight up remove it, whatever. Alright, let me take a look back at the chat. Hopefully everyone will be saying, Primus, you messed up. Yes, the movies. Alright, okay, we're good. And we're back. Let me turn that off. And my mic's good? My mic's good. Also, we really have, like, no air conditioning here. And we're in, North Carolina. And I know some of you are like, so what? I'm in Texas. It's hot here. And, I need to, like, sit in front of a fan for a little bit. Where were we? The gray Transformers. Yes, that's great. What do you think of the DJD's death? I didn't like the fact that they died. That's a good... Wish I saw that then less so I could think about my answer. DJD. I felt that a lot more could have been done with those characters. But I also felt that their deaths were meaningful when it came to... No, it didn't. See, if this was a video I'd be editing, this is where the part where I put text having an existential crisis would be happening. Because I want to say it was effective in advancing Megatron's story. But the thing is, immediately after Megatron went back to being all happy, he almost became a Decepticon. You know, what was it? Did Tarn say something along the lines of, at least I'll die a Decepticon, and then Megatron ripped off his face, put it on himself, and said, so will I. And then he sees Ravage, and Ravage is like, don't turn back. Can we talk about that don't turn back? We'll get to that line. Dude, I live in South Carolina, I'm above you. See, I knew someone would comment that, and it's Josh nonetheless. Okay, Josh. Alright. But, I guess looking back on it, the Decepticon Justice Division's death was sort of, I guess, anticlimactic. I guess you could say that. I expected something more. I honestly didn't expect them to die. But James Roberts has a habit of making things more dangerous and riskier than before. So, yeah. I hope that answered your question. Alessa's Dead Memories said, what do you think about the Transformers looks/designs looking so humanoid in the live-action films like The Last Knight and Age of Extinction versus their looks in the first three? And, yeah, they did look a little bit interesting, didn't they? And I know, as a Japanese American, you're probably expecting me to say, Drift was racist. Nah, I'm not going to say that. He was voiced by Ken Watanabe, who I love. I liked... The accent was accurate. I have a problem with people trying to be, I guess, racist, using what they think is a Japanese accent that doesn't really work. Like, that's not how we pronounce things. Especially changing R's to L's makes no sense whatsoever. But the Japanese R is a bit different from the English R. For instance, we wouldn't say, what's an example of a word with an L? Light. We wouldn't say right with a Japanese accent because that R sound isn't in Japanese. The Japanese R is a little bit more to the, like, back of the teeth, like that's where the tongue is rested, and then it sort of just comes down. So it would be more like dite. And it sort of serves as both our D and L in Japanese. But when people try to do that accent, but they can't do the R's, because whenever like people make fun of the Japanese R, Japanese people like to make fun of other people when they can't pronounce the Japanese R right when speaking Japanese, and so it's a nice little flip flop there. But I liked Drift because Kentaro Watanabe is Japanese, and he got that accent right. And I'm not going to say it's racist like I've seen some people talk about. Alright. Oh, Century's production. Well, I'm in Virginia, so I'm above both of you. Hey, look at that. We got that little 3-state lineup. What was the question? The humanoid looking... I went completely in an entirely opposite direction. Well, not opposite, a completely different direction. I kind of like it. I thought the first 3 movies, Transformers, especially Decepticons, looked way too... if you can interpret what I mean by that movement, gold star for you. That looked way too not... I don't have a problem with it. I just thought it was weird. I know a lot of people say that the movie designs are ugly, and I hate them. But, you know, they're aliens. They can look however they want to look. We don't know. But I kind of weirdly liked it. Like, you know those, weird, most satisfying pictures type deal? Like, you take a can of soup and it's, like, perfectly in a can. I sort of had that feeling watching Transformers 4. Like, I really liked looking at them, and I can't put my finger on why. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I thought it was fine. Do I prefer it over... I prefer how the Autobots looked in, like, the first movie. Over everything else. But I prefer the humanoid looks over how the Decepticons looked in the first movie, for example. Is there anything more I can say on that? I think that's about it. Alright, moving on. How do you think about Transformers 5? How do I think? Well, this is going to be the most snarkiest answer. I use this device in here called a brain. Most humans have these. Not all. Okay. I think you mean what do you think? And okay. I don't know what to think. I'm reserving judgment until the movie comes out. From what I've seen things that I like. I've seen things that I'm questioning, but I'm still optimistic. Yeah, dude, I live in South Carolina. I am above you. Well, you can keep your poorly paved roads and your superheat. I'll just take this relatively milder heat. Okay. Do you think the new Optimus TF4, okay, was a little too out of character? Huh. Oh, can I show you guys a picture? Hold up. Let me see if I can find it. TFCon. Where are you? I know I have a picture here. TFCon. TFCon Charlotte 2015. Oh god, that's a lot of pictures. Where can I find myself? I guess I wouldn't be on here. It'd be on my Facebook, and I just deleted my Facebook. My personal Facebook. I need to find... Where is it? I have a picture of me and my sister with the Optimus Prime truck that was used in the movie. Let me pull this up. I can just do this, can't I? Add image. Okay. Browse. Documents. TFCon Charlotte 2015. Okay. Yeah, this. Oh boy. Let me try to fix this. Okay. Where do I want to put this? If my face is usually here, I'll put this here. Yeah. That's good. I have some pictures of me and my sister with the original Transformers 4 truck. It was at TFCon Charlotte, and it was pretty cool. Pretty big truck. Note, the whole Autobot symbol that came out of the back of the truck? That was apparently CG, in case you couldn't tell. Because it was just a normal plain back. That's the first thing I noticed. But, yeah. It was interesting. I am not answering the question, am I? Let me fix that. Do you think it was a little too out of character? I would understand how someone... Oh, am I getting laggy because I put an image there? Yeah, I am. Okay. Hold up. Let me. You've seen the image. I can take it down now. Remove. Hopefully that gets better. Well, no, it's looking fine right now. Oh well, whatever. I can see how someone who's only watched the movies would think that. Because, you know, you don't really know his personality. But I recently did a Transformers lore video on Transformers Foundation, and it talked about how Optimus started off as a pretty standard Optimus, and how he slowly... This Optimus is prone to changing his emotion to become more angrier. That's sort of his character development. It starts first when Sentinel Prime blows up, and then he just gets steadily angrier. And by the time Age of Extinction rolls around, he's seeing humans take down his own soldiers, like Leadfoot and Ratchet, sort of. He's seeing them ripping apart Ratchet and experimenting on him and taking his Transformium, which is cyber matter, guys. Transformium, here's a little mini Transformers lore right now. Transformium isn't a new thing. It's actually the Tyran Cluster's version of cyber matter. And Centico Metallico, or whatever they call it from IDW. What was I going to say? Oh, there was a point somewhere. This Optimus he got to his breaking point, I feel. And I feel we'll probably, to have a proper character, what's the word I'm looking for? To have a consistent character development, he should probably get more and more angrier as time goes on and more bad things happen to him and the people he cares about. At least that's my opinion. That's how I interpret the character, based on how he's appeared in tie-ins. Well, I'm in Virginia, so I'm above both of you. I want Linkin Park and etc. of that metal hard and rock music in the live-action films music again, like the first 3 films did for their album slash soundtracks. Yeah, Linkin Park was a little... I miss Linkin Park in the movie. I almost said Fall of Cybertron. In Age of Extinction, that's it. I missed it. But we had that whole battle cry from who? Imagine Dragons? I actually like that song, though. But, you know, at some point, Linkin Park and Transformers become sort of a meme, so you have to consider that. A lot of people like to make fun of it, but it's fine. I do wish Linkin Park would... Well, I like consistency. I'll say that. Do you watch stop motions? I watched Night/2020's whole stop motion universe thing a long time ago, and then I stopped keeping up with it with Nexus. I think he's calling himself, TF Productions now, or TF something Productions? He's not going by Night/2020 anymore, I don't think. But I really loved his stop motions. He inspired me to do some stop motions. I think I had them all privated. Alright, you guys want to see some old, I think it was middle school Primus stop motions? We can do this. Hold up. My webcam will probably get a little bit glitchy. But we can take a look at some of my old stop motions. I took it on a little, my sister's waterproof, kid-proof camera that was this big, bulky, pink thing. So let's take a look at those. I think they're the first videos I've uploaded. You can't see them because they're privated, but actually I think they're unlisted instead of privated. But you're getting a little sneak peek at behind the scenes of Primus Prime 22. All right. Go back to page 6. And again, don't expect... I want you to point at these and laugh, because they're terrible. Okay. This one was uploaded July 14th, 2010, titled Scorponok Stop Motion Test. Oh boy. Don't open Skype. Display capture. Yeah. Let me put my face up. All right. So let's take a look at this masterpiece. See how well I can audio balance with all the sound effects. Or lack of sound effects. What? What? Did freaking Energon dive bomb just fly in? Okay, I see. Okay, all right. Let me pull the chat somewhere so I can see the chat during all this. Let me pull you guys over here. But love how dive bomb freaking just came in during all that. No sound effects. You could see where I was struggling because he started to fall over while I was transforming, so I had to like have him do this whole freaking struggle to get up thing because I couldn't hold the figure just right. So yeah, and then dive bomb comes out of nowhere. But all right, Optimus transforms. Oh, these are so cringe. Oh, what's with this shadow? Oh god. Oh wow. Gotta get the... Look at the different... The flash, I guess, was completely uncontrollable. Oh dear. Jazz transforms. For a while I just did them like on a drawing board. Like a literal drawing board in the middle of my living room with Breakaway. Then I did little spotlights. They were basically freaking fan fictions. And these were made with Windows Movie Maker, by the way. They had text come up the screen to represent talking. It had annoying audio. Hopefully I don't get a copyright claim on this. Oh boy. Spotlight Brawl by Primus Prime 22. Oh boy, look at that. Oh, a little annotation to Spotlight Jolt. I have a freaking old 80s Batman comic in the background. Had to replay the transformation sound effect. Let me just do some voice acting for you guys, since I didn't bother to put it in 2010. I am Brawl. My friends call me the Devastator. See, that's me. Is my FPS terrible? It looks terrible. We'll stop after this. In fact, we'll stop now. My friends call me the Devastator. See, that's my example of trying to fix continuity because they call him Devastator in the beginning. But, yeah. Let's, stop this before my, computer blows up. Boom, 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 boom. And let's just expand my face again. Bring me back over here. Pull the chat over here. And boom. So that was my terrible stop motions. Tried to fix continuity. The Spotlight Jolt one had a lot of Transformers Energon characters in it. Because you see my collection, it's half movie, half Energon, of all things. But yeah. But yeah, I don't really watch much stop motion now, mostly because I don't really have time to. And yeah. IGN rates this stream 0 out of 10, too much Transformers. Yeah, yeah. Century's production message restricted, or retracted. Would you like to see the Scavengers a lot more in the new series Lost Light? Ooh, maybe. From what I understand, the Lost Light are not the Lost Light. The Scavengers are going to Earth on in Revolution, in the tie-in. And they're going to be fighting, you know, I think Matt Tracker from M.A.S.K. So that's going to be interesting. But yeah, I would love to see the Scavengers more. They're interesting characters. Crankcase, little known fact, in Stormbringer, he headbutts Thunderwing, and I think that's what caused the whole, corner half of his head being gone. Knowing James Roberts, he probably won't take that take that opportunity to tie in continuity with a previous issue and just give it something new. But whatever. And so that looks like it clears up the questions. So the topics, we have 2 topics, don't we? Combiner Wars. I talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the stream. I was pumped up for this. But when the thing actually came out, what other here we have a question, but that's cool. What other Decepticons would you like to see other than Onslaught and Barricade in TF5? Oh yeah, Onslaught isn't there, and Barricade. What other would I like to see? Whatever makes sense in the plot. Other one I'd like to see. I really don't have anyone I'm hoping to see. Seeing Starscream again would be nice if they brought him back to life somehow. But yeah. So on Combiner Wars, I was pumped up for it, and I don't really like the cartoon right now. And here are my reasons for this. I have easy motion sickness. Like, put me in a car and then give me something to read. It can be just a short sentence and I'll end up wanting to throw up after reading it. I have terrible motion sickness. The first scenes of both episode 1 and episode 2 of Combiner Wars gave me motion sickness right off the bat. So I'm like, all right, let's watch this. Yeah. So that was a warning sign. Second of all, I'm not going to be one of those who craps on the animation. I know a lot of people are saying the animation looks terrible, but you're looking at a person who was raised on Transformers Energon. I can handle bad animation. The voice acting ranges from good to terrible. Menasor. What was up with Menasor's voice? He sounded like some sort of schoolyard bully. What more I was going to say? I find it interesting Windblade's mask that didn't retract, it shattered and just fell off when she wanted to take it off. Like, that seems a little useless. I mean, I wouldn't want a mask whose thing is just to fall off. But yeah. The show, one of my major problems with the Combiner Wars show is I don't think it understands what a combiner is. They're sort of treating it as a race of people, when a combiner is like multiple people combined, multiple people who have their own political affiliations, really sides, Autobot or Decepticon, but they're treating the combiners like a separate faction in a separate race. I find some things just so bad it's good, like when Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime and the Mistress of Flame are talking about the enigma of combination, and like, the combiners don't even know we have it yet, even though it's in the capital, on top of a skyscraper, for all the world to see. The combiners don't know we have this thing that we've put on display. But yeah. I like how... actually, let me take that back. I hate how the Mistress of Flame, who wasn't even involved in the war, was like, let's just kill all the combiners for some reason. And Starscream... Hot Rod's like, maybe you're right. Like, you guys are supposed to be the good guys. Then Starscream comes in, and he's like, whoa, wait, guys, wait just a minute. Maybe we shouldn't kill a race of people. This is Starscream being the voice of reason. And immediately after that, within the minute that she suggested killing all the combiners, the Mistress of Flame is like, I don't want to hear that from you, Starscream, someone who's slaughtered millions of his own kind. That was a war, first of all. That was a war. This is peacetime. That was a war. He was just fighting. Well, yeah, Starscream probably was like one of the best fighters, probably killed a lot of Autobots in the war, but it was still a war. And there's a difference between a war and massacring a type of a race of people in peacetime. That's a little different. But yeah. What else do I have to say about it? That's really all I have to say. I'll still be watching the Combiner Wars series. I hope it gets better. but right now it just isn't looking too good. Josh, I hate when Optimus Prime is given a mouth, except for IDW since he's always has his faceplate on. Always, always. Not next Transformers lore, but the Transformers lore after that set in the IDW universe. Will beg to differ. That's just because there's only 2 issues where he straight up doesn't have his mouth. He has a body without a mouth plate, and Optimus wants his mouth plate back in that. So you and Optimus share a same mind in that regard. When he's given a mouth, so like, what about so like I guess the movies don't count. So I guess you don't like the movies and the animated universe or Unicron trilogy, or yeah, Transformers Prime. Okay, that's an interesting opinion. I honestly don't really have a preference. Well, I prefer the faceplate. But if I say the mouth, I'm not gonna get the pitchforks march over to Hasbro's freaking building. Cover the mouth. That was me holding a pitchfork. I don't know why I made that gesture. Next topic on the list. Freaking Jem and the Holograms, the comics. Since recently, Jem and the Holograms has been confirmed to be in the IDW universe. I reread. There I go saying reread all again. I read all of the Jem comics. I say all. It's more of like 17 issues and like a couple specials in an annual. It was... trying to think of how nicely to say this. It was interesting. It was not for me. I will say that. I was not the intended audience. And the only reason I was reading it was because it was part of the IDW universe and I am a completionist with fiction. So, it was definitely... I'll start with what I don't like and then move on to the redeemable qualities it has. My number one problem is if those characters were in real life, I would hate them. And I sort of hate them in the book, like as I'm reading them. I don't like any of these characters, but they're written as if we're supposed to like them. They throw in how adorable a character is every now and then. And I'm like, really? That's supposed to be an adorable character? And it's not just other characters saying this. This is like the narrator voiceover saying things like this. And that really gets on my nerves a little bit. I don't like these characters. Another point is the crazy hair. And I don't have a problem with whatever your hair is, but when every single character has ridiculous hair, like ridiculous, even if they're not involved in the band stuff. I can understand if it's a band member, like okay, you're crazy, you're lively, the Japanese word we would say is genki. I don't really know if English has like, I guess energetic, but energetic sounds a little more formal. But everyone else, like the freaking waitress, has crazy hair. The waitress, which by the way is something interesting, the cutest character, I thought, later turned out to be a transgendered character. And so I'm like, whoa, I need to rethink my life. But yeah, it's one of those comics. So again, it's not for me. But I need to get to the things I like real fast before I start getting people wanting to burn me at the stake. The crazy hair. The reason... Now, a lot of people are going to say, anime, everyone has crazy hair. The thing about anime is, you have a lot of characters that you want to recognize. The purpose of the hair and hair colors in anime, usually there are some exceptions with some crazy hair. Usually it's meant to be able... so you can identify a character easily in a crowd or whatever. At least that's the mindset behind it. And the colors later evolved into something meaning personality. But first and foremost, they're to identify characters. Jem, you can have 4 people with the same blue hair in one scene, and it gets really hard to tell the difference. There's 2 characters, one in the Jem and the Holograms band and one in the Misfits band. They're both short, blue-haired girls who are I guess the correct word would be they're bodily diverse. Yeah, let's say that. And I can't tell the difference between either of them, and that's real interesting. Trying to think if there's any other cons. It starts off a little bit slow. Let me tell you the plot of this first. It's these four girls that want to be in a band. The main singer, Jerica, can't sing, or can't sing in public because she feels sort of self-conscious. They find these little earrings that their dead dad had left for them. She puts them on and it allows her to control holograms. She can look like this new character, Jem. Off the topic question, but DC or Marvel? Oh boy, I'm not going to be able to... if you recognize DC comic spines, all this black over here are DC comics. Oh, I'm close to the mic. So yeah, it's DC. Alright, let's leave that there. Oh god, now I need to center the thing. Alright, yeah, I'm more of DC, but I'm not going to stray away from Marvel. Since Josh was doing it, Wars or Trek. Do I have Star Wars back here? I probably have Star Wars back here. But, Star Wars. Over there, I didn't show it in my collection video, but on that shelf, a completely different shelf from the rest of my Transformers, is my Star Wars shelf. The only reason I haven't really gotten to Star Trek is because I haven't really grown up with it. I haven't really gone into it. And did I get a comment? Ben O commented, well, this helps clear up their line continuity. Thanks, Ben O. So yeah, Star Wars. But, you know, I'm not going to shy away from Star Trek. So yeah, Star Trek. I might get into Star Trek recently. I've seen the newer movies. I don't remember what happened in them. But, where were we? Jem and the Holograms. Okay. Thank you for bringing me to a more interesting subject, really. Let me try to wrap up this thought on Jem and the Holograms. Let me get to what's good. And it's that the writer really cares about what she's writing. She has Red Hood and the Outlaws for Life. Yeah, I read a good bit of the original Red Hood and the Outlaws. What I like more than Red Hood and the Outlaws, and I think written by the same person, is the Under the Hood story arc. I might need to do a whole video just for my comic collection, because boy, I love comics. I have stopped reading DC after Rebirth though, and the reason for that is because I got brought into DC through the New 52, and I know a lot of people disliked it, but I'm like, well, I don't really know too much about pre-New 52 continuity. I know a lot about Batman, but besides that, and some events, but I don't know like the specifics. I used to have a huge spreadsheet of the reading order for the New 52, but it just got too expensive because, you know, I'm a completionist. I want to read everything. That's why we're talking about Jem and the Holograms right now. And then Rebirth happened where they pretty much crapped on everything New 52, and everyone was like, yeah, and I'm like, well, I got into this with the New 52. This is expensive. You're bringing in all these references that I've never heard of before. I think it's time for me to go my separate way. And IDW had just announced the Revolution, and it was already going to get expensive. So I just like, okay, this is my time to withdraw. I still keep tabs on what's going on over there, though. What do you think about G.I. Joe? G.I. Joe! I like it. I know I sounded hesitant there. I know that didn't sound certain at all. But, G.I. Joe. I just recently got into it because of Revolution. But I've been watching the cartoon, and when I say I've been watching the cartoon, I mean I've been rewatching episode 1 over and over and over to try to make sure what's happening. Because, you collect single issues of comics. Not in, let me answer the G.I. Joe question. I love the IDW G.I. Joe universe, and I'm just getting into the Marvel and cartoon G.I. Joe. Any G.I. Joe linked to Transformers, I'm going to go through it eventually, but I enjoy it for the most part. I don't like how it was pretty much forced upon me as a Transformers fan, but it's G.I. Joe and Transformers have been the same universe since 1983. It's before Transformers was made. I guess that didn't make sense. I guess it would have to be when both are made, so 1984. In both comic and Transformers form. Both comic and cartoon form. So, yeah. But I enjoy it. I tend to like G.I. Joe characters more than I like... Like, my favorite G.I. Joe characters I'll probably like more than my favorite Transformer characters. But overall, I like more Transformer characters than I like G.I. Joe characters. But yeah. Do you collect single issues of comics? I get digital versions of single issues. And then, when I have enough money, I get the trade version. I don't really do single issues. I have some single issues just because I haven't bothered to get them in trade yet. Like the whole New Avengers Transformers crossover I have in single issue. There's a lot of old 80s Batman issues that I have, like over here. Oh boy. And they're in terrible condition because I don't really collect single issues. Like here we have I know this is expensive. At least I think so. But here's part 3 of the Lonely Place of Dying storyline. And that's where Tim Drake becomes Robin. It's like immediately after Death of the Family. I mean, Death in the Family. Here's Batman number 458 from January 1991. It's when Batman recruited Harold. The dude who got shot in that Hush storyline. And here we have Batman number 433 from May 89. A friend of these gave me a friend of mine gave me this back in elementary school. We don't talk much anymore. He joined the Marines. I'm not saying that's why we don't talk anymore. Like, oh, you joined the Marines? Scum. No. We're good. We just haven't talked a lot recently. And then we have a bunch of crap here. A lot of damaged single issues. Some reprints of the old... Like, a reprint of the Amazing Spider-Man number 11. Like, featuring the long-awaited return of Dr. Octopus. So I guess the second appearance of Dr. Octopus? I also have Transformers More Than Meets the Eye number 30. Because my girlfriend at the time got me that while she was at the beach. Don't really know why. I already have it collected up here, but whatevs. Oh, Daniel's up in here! Nice! Dire Wraiths are coming! Yes. Hey. Those of you who asked about, like, ROM and stuff, I recommend subscribing to Daniel Adkins, who showed up in chat. He does some videos. If you like Valiant comics, go check him out too. I want to get into Valiant comics, but I don't have the money. Like, see this blue snowball here? Just got it. Took up most of my money. There was a question, wasn't there? What do you think of JoJo? Do you collect single? Dire Wraiths are coming. Hey, Daniel, I'm a fan of your channel. Thank you. Glad to know I actually have fans. Okay. Do you have Batman the Killing Joke? No, I do not. I have read The Killing Joke. I just read it after checking it out at the library. But I do not have Killing Joke. Hashtag WraithWatch 2016. Nice. Okay, so where were we? We were at Jem and the Holograms. And we're talking about what I like. The writer really cares about what she's writing. She has these whole character sheets. They talk about what a character likes, what a character dislikes. And then those later come into play in the book. Like, I know one character had likes bagels, and then like the next issue she was eating bagels. I bet Primus Prime is a Dire Wraith. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Okay. They found out our secret. Alright, that was weird. I really like how you can tell when Jem and the Holograms takes place, because a lot of IDW comics you really can't tell when it's taking place, like the month. Jem and the Holograms generally make sure you know where it happens. The earlier issues took place around October, and at one point it's Halloween. And then later on, you had the holiday special, which is set at around Christmas time, and you can set that right up next to the Transformers holiday special in the reading order. Which, by the way, if any of you have checked out my reading order I've made, it's in the link in the description over at I think the 150 subscriber video or my 300 subscriber video. I think it's the Q&A. The Q&A. If you find that, it has my complete reading order for the IDW universe. The next arc starts. The Dark Gem arc starts around January. So yeah, it's easy to tell when things take place, and that's how I managed to put it in the reading order. What else do I like about it? The music. And now you're like, Primus, it's a comic book. How can you like the music? It's how the music is portrayed in the comic. They use these great big like one-page spreads, and two-page spreads of like them like, you know, on stage, but the lyrics sort of come out like they draw the music. I don't mean like drawing the notes. I mean like make this flow of colors that sort of represent the music. And then you have the lyrics put into it. Honestly, I never take the time to read the lyrics, and I probably should. But yeah, I really like how they tackle the music. Because think about it, it's about a band. How are you going to tackle music in a band? How are you going to tackle music in a comic? But Jem does that very well. What else do I like about it? The Misfits is getting their own spin-off series soon, and I think that's going to be interesting. Is it ever explained why Bumblebee is named after an Earth insect, even though he's an alien? I can give you a short answer, or I can give you a long answer. The short answer is you're going to have to hear the long answer, I guess, because I like to be precise. The long answer is usually, I think Jazz brings up in the Marvel comic to GB Blackrock that my name is unpronounceable in your language, but you can call me Jazz. And it sort of suggested that, I think, that Transformers sort of have a name that sort of fits Cybertronian culture, and it's sort of just translating things. This isn't universal or multiversal. This isn't applied to everything. This is just a little, almost just a Marvel type thing. But overall, no, it isn't directly explained why Bumblebee is named after an Earth insect. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong. There could be some obscure thing that talks about it. But usually Transformers have their own language, Cybertronian name, and then they get that name while they're on Earth. It's really complicated. I try not to think about Transformer names too much, because that's going to give me too much of a headache. I'm tempted to look up the answer to that question right now to see if it's been talked about anywhere, but I really doubt it has. I think I've talked all about Jem. But yeah, it gets confusing to identify characters at times. The characters, to me personally, are unlikable. It wasn't made for me. That's not a bad thing for the comic. That's just my experience with reading the comic. So that's nothing against the comic itself. But the writer really cares about what she's writing about, and it shows with all her extra material. The music and the art is done flawlessly. I say flawlessly. That's a strong word. I probably shouldn't say that. Are done greatly. Are done well. It's improving. At least in my opinion, it's improving. In my experience, Dark Gem was a pretty good arc in my opinion for the overall Gem series. And yeah, I think that wraps it up. I'm looking forward for more. What are your thoughts on Combiner Wars? I've been meaning to check out Gem. I guess now I have to since it's in the Hasbroverse. Yeah, I doubt it's really going to tie in much, but it exists. Have you read Action Man #2? If not, if you're one of those people who like don't want to know any spoilers at all before you read something, mute me right now. But in Action Man #2, there's a poster for the Misfits sticking straight up from the IDW continuity in Action Man's room. But yeah, I doubt that they're going to do much crossover. I don't. The editors know that Jem is in the universe, and that's why John Barber threw in that reference in Action Man. But honestly, part of me thinks the writer of Jem doesn't really know yet. But yeah. As for James Chance's question, what are your thoughts on Combiner Wars? If you're talking about the series that just came out, I covered that a little bit earlier. Long story short, I'm not liking it, but I'll continue to watch and hope it gets better. I outlined every single thing I had, every single point I had, and yeah. Should I do a comic collection vid? I mainly have single issues. It'll probably tie in better than Unit E. Probably. I think it's more believable that Jem and the Holograms will be doing their own thing during everything else that's happening in IDW than it is for Synergy to just straight up say, alright, we need to recruit a group of teenagers with attitude. Alright, a bunch of super people, or robots, or G.I. Joe. Well, yeah, it would probably work better than Unit E, honestly. And as for Halo trans fans' question, do you, boo? Do you, boo? Did I just say that? Do what you gotta do. Do what you feel like doing. Don't let other people tell you how to live your life. That being said, if any of you follow me on Twitter, you can help me steer the direction of the channel whenever I'm unsure of what to do, and I make a poll of hey, which video should I do next? But yeah, and I think that wraps everything up. So that's all the topics, isn't it? Okay. We've been streaming for 1 hour, 26 minutes, and 16 seconds. Whew. I guess we have to wrap this up now. I really enjoyed this stream, guys. I expected no one to come up because I just did it off the bat, no warning. Just because I just sort of got bored. And I didn't want to deal with the hassle of editing. Don't tell anyone I said that. I am a hard-working person. But yeah, I think I'm going to end it here. We talked about the topics. We got some good questions in here. I'm probably going to change the name of the video to and Q&A. Thank you guys so much for coming out. It means a lot. You guys, the real MVP, if that's what the cool kids these days say. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I might do more of these. Who knows? If I do, I'm going to give a little, your boredom equals our entertainment. Thank you. I'm a pretender, Decepticon. So a dire wraith. The pretender shell hides the dire wraith inside. Anyway, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I've said that too many times, but I really expected no one to come. Remember, dire wraiths are everywhere. Hey, bro, call me boss. Hey. So yeah, I think my family is home now. But yeah, I'm going to leave it. Trust nobody. Anyone can be a wraith in the skies. Nice. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll give more warning next time for a stream. I might make this a weekly thing. Maybe Wednesday evening. Maybe Wednesday around. We're getting a lot of views around 9. Maybe Wednesday at 9. I'll do this type thing. Does that sound good? That sounds good. I'll tweet about it and Tumblr about it and Facebook about it. But yeah,